Alright. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic / Known Classics. This is episode number 2228 and Doubleshot number 2122. We're discussing the second and third volumes of this particular trade series, Superman New Krypton. Dun 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 dun. Yes, Superman. This book covers Supergirl, Volume 5, Issues 35-36, Superman 682, 683, Action Comics 872 and 873. Now, I did make a check here. Now, Action Comics did have back feature. We'll discuss it in a later video. But the Superman? Nope. Superman did not have back feature. So first we start off with Supergirl 35, where everybody is witnessing the whole. Everybody's basically, you see like Kira's parents back in her life, basically her breaking her glasses, trying to get her alive as Linda Lang, and of course there was Reactron, and of course she finds out her memories melt because apparently she's got like some poisoning in her, and she's cured. Yep, she eventually is cured. Yep. And eventually we see the debut of Superwoman. No, this is not basically the one that appears in New 52. Well, actually more like Rebirth. This is the pre-Flashpoint version. Who is this, what we might ask? It is... Get this. Lois Lane's sister. Yep, she is Superwoman. Because her father made it this way. Yes, she got her powers altered for no apparent reason. She just did. It is by far one of the strangest things related to this. Let's see, what is her sister's name here? Lucy Lane. Yes, Lucy becomes... Yeah, Lucy herself becomes Superwoman for reasons left completely unexplained. Because of course she works for her father. Oh, and also in a later issue, Supergirl, when she basically did the whole thing of dealing with the body, she's pointed out by the ME, her sister's got more manners than she does because Lucy is written to be very rude. Because she joined the military, Lois didn't. Cut to Superman 682, where he's basically see a version of Bizarro show up. Yes, Bizarro. And of course, Age Limit meeting with the president. Oh, and they've already dealt with Doomsday, so... And then for some reason, we cut to, looks like, Stryker's Island, where 5 Kryptonians decided to randomly attack the place, beat up the guards, all to take Parasite. Why? And then we have Supergirl trying to take on Sarah Banshee, and then, of course, she's taken out by our Kryptonians. And then they cut to Arkham Asylum, where apparently the Kryptonians have knocked out Nightwing and Robin. It's actually Tim Drake Robin. Where they're looking for somebody. Is it Two-Face? Nope. Mr. Freeze? Nope. Here. Who are they looking for? The Toy Man. Why the heck is Arkham Asylum? I don't know. And apparently, and get this, they see these people are a threat to Kal-El, Morgan Edge, and then of course they're confronted by Black Lightning. Yes, Black Lightning is here. What about me? Yep. Then of course the Kryptonian attacking Bizarro. Superman is not happy with the Kryptonians. He's like, "What in Raoul's name were you thinking? Cal, you insane? Me after everything? I must say, Cal, this is a surprise more something. Thanks. Cal, come to understand. You're right, Kira. I'm bewildered. Even after I brush with Doomsday, you should save for others. Make it, save to it. No, no. Do not tell me you murdered him like you did with those 4 cops. Cops. Policemen. Good men in my city. Killed by some of you in this courtesy of this insanity. Oh, Cal, no. No, no, Father, this is terrible. No, what? Neither did I. They fought these cops, but it was their mistake. Allura. Yeah, apparently Allura organized this for reasons. Mother. Oh, Lord, what do you acting to understand? Then I don't try, Cal. This is Earth term. I learned late Cal was pleased and lucky. And Superman reiterates this. Haven't you listened to anything I've told you? There are laws on Earth, international laws. You can't just go do as you please. I'll need names of those involved in the killings. They'll have to answer for this. Do you honestly think of our people? Mother, Cal's right. You gotta listen. No, Kier, hold your tongue. Cal, they don't worry. They're alive. What in Sword's name? And then for some... Okay, so apparently, get this. Superman Zones have been sent to the Phantom Zone. Yes. And they're surrounding, of all people, Mon-El. And you're thinking, what the heck is Mon-El doing in the Phantom Zone? Superman put him there. Because he had lead poisoning. And then we cut to Action Comics 872. Now here's the thing. I agree with Superman. What the Kryptonians did was stupid. Like, so you took out all of his bad guys and put them in the Phantom Zone. Really? They were perfectly fine where they were. Nope. The Kryptonians, who are under orders from Superman's own aunt, and of course Kara is just aghast the fact her mother would do this, that they would attack and kill 4 police officers. Just because they got in their way. Yeah, then of course apparently have the Kryptonians surrounding Brainiac's ship. Yes, because apparently they got Brainiac's technology. And of course they will restore people who were taken by Brainiac. This of course dealing with the critical acclaim story on Brainiac. And then all of a sudden we have Metallo here. Yes, they have Brainiac work with Lex Luthor for reasons. They have people getting free. Apparently these are the creature commandos being freed. Who are you? No wish it was the Tone Strive. It's Superman. Who's Superman? Alien world? Or from a planet that you call Krypton, but you're on Earth. Yep, the creature commandos are back on Earth. Yeah, this is actually the return from their storyline back in the 80s. So yeah, the creature commandos. Yep, and they go outside and they're confronted by Metallo and the Reactron. Yes. Where one of the Kryptonians is murdered by a Reactron. They have these Brainiac robots. And then, of course, something controversial happens. Reactron kills Supergirl's father by firing a beam into his chest. And they confirm he's dead with the issue of Supergirl. Yeah, of course. Now, here's the thing. Kara's father is a more reasonable one. Her mother is completely irrational half the time. And, of course, like, yep, soon be up the robots. Yep, his uncle dying in his daughter's arms. For Kendor! For Krypton! And, of course, he dies. Yep. And, of course, basically something drastic happens. Yeah, you have basically Zora, basically Kara's mom, being in a after basically grieving for her late husband. Action of you, and of course Supergirl goes away, and then of course she's confronted by Superwoman. Yeah, and her mother is very upset the fact that her husband's gone. Yeah, and it's like, Defender gets an oncoming storm. It goes straight to Superman 683. And then, of course, Superman is saying to somebody, he says, listen, you can't be here. You have to leave. And he's talking to Hal Jordan, Alan Scott, Power Girl, John Stewart, Black Lightning, who can fly now, Jay Garrick, Wonder Woman, Steel, Starfire, Hawkman, Hawkgirl, and Miss Terrific. And of course, they're there with Age of Liberty. And of course, and you know we can't. You understand what we've been through. But you can't believe we'll turn away you say, Krypton's many people. Yes, Superman. They murdered cops. Guardian. Aren't you dead? I got better. The Science Police Controller asked me at least between police and Metropolis heroes. I have orchestrated this once in his sight for justice. Yeah. Yes, the murderers will stand trial. I swear it. But you have to let it go my way. Look, Superman, none of us here understand why they reduct those villains. They talk about limiting my foes in Metropolis. They better protect themselves in the process. Yes, well, they're screw thinking. Many on Earth think the act of open aggression like war. War. All this is just cultural confusion. And of course, Hawkman says this. Not you realize, should you exchange business cards with Japanese businessman upon meeting in his cultural confusion? A bit more? Yeah, 30 minutes of killers. Fine. But just out of interest. What do you think will happen within a half hour is over? I don't like to imagine. Yep. And of course, Superman talks to his aunt. Allura, I don't understand you. Really? I think I've been very clear. I said, you're calmly doing wrong knows what here and now. The whole while your city is surrounded by superheroes, and the clock is saying, if you don't handle those killers, everything we hope to build here on Earth will be for nothing. What is this anyway? So they apparently want to use Brainiac's stuff to basically create a new Krypton. Yep. So instead of handing over the killers, they proceed to fight, and yeah, and of course they fight the other rogue Kryptonians, and Guardian takes out one of them. Yeah, Power Girl fighting the Slavic. She's Kryptonian too. Did the writer of this book basically forget the fact that Power Girl is Kryptonian too? This Slavic, she's from a different universe. Apparently. Lots of fighting, and of course, then we have the magic users show up. We have Jericho Thunder. Looks like the Shade. I see the Enchantress. I see Captain Marvel. Some of the others I don't recognize, but Susanna is clearly front and center. And she's but maybe we can. Yeah, because Kryptonians weak against magic. And of course, while all the confusion's happening, then the city lifts up. Yes, the city lifts up. By the way, Stargirl's there for some reason. Yes, Stargirl. And they create a new Krypton. Yes, a new planet, which exists in DC Comics for over a year before it's destroyed. Yes. And thus setting up the next year of storytelling. And then, of course, we have Age of Liberty getting killed by Superwoman. And the epilogue, like, oh, everything is all established here. And then we have Zod, who apparently has been free for the Phantom Zone. Yes, Zod is free for the Phantom Zone. And that ends the main storyline of New Krypton. Yeah, really good stuff here. Love it. I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Alright, next up we have is, come on, thank you. Next up we have is Volume 3. And this book is not containing the issues of like Superman and Action Comics. Now this is basically about the main crux of New Krypton stuff. The World of New Krypton series. This contains the first half of that series. Volume 4 contains the other half. If you're curious about Action Comics and Superman, this is why like those are clearly Superman's titles. Action Comics was taken over by Nightwing and Flamebird. Nightwing being, of course, not... Here's the strange thing, though. At the same time all this craziness was going on, Batman was being replaced over his own comic book. So, that's how they got away with basically having a Nightwing in Action Comics. Was because Dick Grayson became Batman. So, Nightwing and Flamebird took over Action Comics, and the whole thing was basically looking for those killers. Those rogue Kryptonians. That's basically the main crux of their story. And I've covered basically both of those already in these comic corners. And I covered the crossover code named Patriot, which happened during the course of this period of time. Supergirl was doing her own things in her own title. Her stuff basically would last for a pretty good period of time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, of course, the Action Comics issues were done by Jeff Johns. Mm-hmm. James Robinson kind of would take over as main writer of this book for a certain period of time. Yeah, for Action Comics, well, it's all James Robinson from 879, and he leaves with 889. Yep, he also has some issues of Adventure Comics. But in the case of Superman, the Superman title, which James Robinson was doing that too, but I think he must have done both at the same time. Yes, I think he did. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he did have the shade there pop up. There was a few heroes popped up in the last issue. He would do Superman from issue 677, and he wouldn't lead the book until issue 700. Yeah, so he pretty much is the main writer for that book. Oh yeah, and here's something interesting. He also wrote an issue for Volume 4 for Superman, well, a couple issues. Yeah, he wrote basically a couple issues toward the very end before the relaunch. Yeah, before the relaunch under Brian Michael Bendis. Yep. Supergirl, on the other hand, was pretty much at this period of time written by Sterling Gates. As a matter of fact, Sterling Gates was actually the longest writer on this book. Yeah, he would become the main writer of this book with issue 34, which basically started this stuff here, and he would lead the book to issue 59. Yeah, and this is well after the whole thing with the whole thing of New Krypton stuff wrapping up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're curious, though, the Supergirl stuff with the New Krypton stuff, that would actually wrap up with issue 50. Mm-hmm. With the world against Superman. Yep. And this will lead into the last day of New Krypton, which I will cover that eventually, don't worry. And that will lead into War of the Supermen. Yeah, pretty much in the way this would end. Yeah, the last set of New Krypton, that will end all this, and I will cover that stuff eventually. Don't worry about that. But this is about the main first half of this. Yes. Oh, by the way, in Superman, Mondale took over the title with issue, I think it was like 685, I think it was. Let me take a look about that. I think he took over with issue number, it wasn't 692. No, it was actually before that one. It actually would start with, get this, 686. That's where he would start as the starred character of the book. Because after 2 issues, basically having combined for Superman himself, they pretty much in a way made him the star of the book for about 14 straight issues. Yep. But now we're discussing the main book. The one where, like... Sorry about that. So, in the first half of the storyline, which, by the way, all this is in here written by James Robinson and Greg Rucka. Yes, they would write the main crux of the storyline. Which basically, this took up issues of World into Krypton, issues 1 through 5, and the annual for Action Comics. Yep. Now, would this book in particular reprint the whole annual? No. No, it won't. Yeah, it would just reprint the Criminals of Krypton. That's most put exactly what it is. Yeah, basically a lot of this stuff, the annuals that was reprinted in the last Sun Deluxe edition. So, in these issues in particular, this is basically Superman, his life on New Krypton. Because this is where he is now for these issues. For basically a period of 1 year, he is in this book. Oh, and by the way, he does not start where he basically, throughout this whole book, he does wear this attire, and he stops being called Superman. He's just called Commander L. He's called this throughout almost this entire book, but that's over issue 2 of the book up until the final issue. So you have Superman basically now living on the world of New Krypton, where he introduced all the guilds, and he does basically not like the fact that the labor class basically are slaves. He was thinking of joining the Science Guild, but he was suggested to join the Military Guild. So, after he told all them, of course, then he goes to see the Military Guild. He says this, and he's like, Zod's been following me ever since I arrived here. I know. Someone wants to see me. Let's go. And of course, all training their powers. Like, you took your time. As I said, my family comes first. Your family, but not your people. This is the Military Guild, Kal-El. You are not military. You're not welcome here. I came here to talk to Zod. General Zod is occupied at the moment. Then the general can tell me himself. Your funeral. And of course, he fights Non. And he's like, that's enough. There's a fundamental fact all of you have seen and missed. All of you, you're all new to your powers. But me, I've had a lifetime to master them. You might want to consider that before any of you tries it again. An excellent point, Kal-El. Yeah, he surprisingly agrees with it because, well, they're all new to their powers. Superman's basically had experience. And he's like, ooh, someone with your experience could be an incredible asset to the guild. Your assistance in our training are people's defense of great hope. Somehow, I doubt defense is your first concern, Daryl. Defense of my people has always been my first concern, Kal-El. Just your father's. My conflict arose from the means and methods of assuring it. But in the end, we both wanted the same thing. So that's why I tried to conquer Earth. My attempt to conquer was born from the belief that Krypton had been annihilated. You recovered Kandor, and the creation of this planet changed my view. Look in particular, two things actually. Ursa and Chris. Commander Ursa is leading a Black Zero Squad at the moment. His name is Lord Zod, my son. He's my son, not yours. And I told you before, he is not a concern. We may have been adversaries, Kal-El. That does not mean we must be enemies. Think about what I said. How will we begin? Nor, Gore, you with me. Oh, you're back. So yeah, he decided to join the Military Guild, and look, he got a spanking uniform. And he's referred to as Commander L. For the rest of the series. And he's basically the second command of the military. So, and then of course, like, and then the Guardians of the Universe are worried about this. So they send Green Lanterns. And then Superman points out to General Zod, I'd kill you right now, Commander L. And he's like, this isn't the first time a gun's been pointed at me, General Zod. First one like this, our Science Guild delivered it. Like, everything's on hunky-dory. Of course, he introduces his crew. Of course, apparently Non is part of his squad, too. And, well, I think the reason why he's positioned as a commander because for a few reasons. Number one, His aunt is the ruler of New Krypton. Number 2, they fear him. And number 3, he actually has more experience using the suit powers than any of the Kryptonians. Yeah, he's the only one with experience. And of course, he chats with his aunt. And of course, sees his cousin again. Of course, she's here briefly. Then she goes back to Earth with her stuff in her own book. And then, of course, issue 2 ends with a hostage situation. Yes, the Labor Guild has taken the higher echelon hostage. And, of course, Superman deals with a hostage crisis in issue 3. So, he voluntarily depowers himself, goes in, sees his aunt's okay, and, of course, all Labor Guild wants basically recognized as a regular guild, not as slaves, and a seat of the council. Like, okay. Take time, but okay, we'll do it. And, of course, the thing is stopped. Nobody dies. Zod actually, I think one of the people wanted to charge in. Yeah, and then, of course, this guy, very arrogant guy named Gore. No, Gore, no, I have my duties. And, of course, a fight. And, of course, burning the Superman symbol on his breast. And they fight for quite a while. Then, of course, apparently Superman's powers get back. Zod does not step in at all because, well, he feels that the guy, he probably can say for himself. And then the Green Lanterns show up. Yes. Not just any Green Lanterns. Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, and John Stewart. Yes. The Green Lanterns. So, Cal, I assume you had a got me? Yeah. It's a good thing that Superman and Hal Jordan are old friends. Yes. 3 Green Lanterns. I'm sure it's not a social goal. More fact by mission. The Guardians so claims of Krypton. And of course, Zod always has a question. Who are these men? Members of the Green Lantern Corps, General. I remember you. You fiercely fought against us with bravery and passion. I get like that when my people in my home world. As do I. For New Krypton are old. For these Green Lanterns here, look around. Feel free to give him a tour, Commander. Your Labor Guild friend, Toro, will make a guide. We had nothing fair for them. Anything fear. And of course, look around. There's also stuff they found about an actual criminal found here, but the Kryptonians, they said I was disagreeing about it, but they were able to handle a problem. But having the Green Lantern show up in issue 3, that's interesting. And then for some reason, the end of issue 3, he's arrested for treason. In issue 4, issue 5, he's put on trial. And for some reason, no Labor Guild representation for the council, which is interesting. So then, of course, he's presenting evidence and proving the fact he's guilty, but he's able to be abstained because it's a religious holiday. Everything's a hunky-dory. And then Zod's shot. Yes, Zod is shot at the end of issue 5. Then we have the Criminals Krypton. Basically, kind of in a way, the whole thing of Criminals Krypton is just basically a very loose adaptation of a flashback scene from the very first Superman movie. Which, if you're curious who did this story, this is from Action Comics number 10. Who did the Criminals Krypton, you might ask? Well, that is done by Jeff Johns and Richard Donner. Makes total sense. It's an excellent story featuring Zod, Ursa, and Nor. I thought that was a really good story. And then, of course, basically this led into the Codename Patriot crossover. Yes, the attempted assassination of General Zod, which, by the way, after the crossover wraps up, he's still in the coma for the rest of the series. And Superman is in charge of the military guild. Until, see, Zod's he's not dead, he's in a coma. But in the case of this trade in particular, I give this one a 9.5 out of 10. Excellent. And we're only halfway through World of Krypton. Now you might be thinking, though, okay, so I have reviewed, for my YouTube channel, I have reviewed the stuff with Nightwing and Flamebird, obviously. Okay. But what about the Supergirl stuff? Well, Supergirl, I have reviewed volumes 6 and 7. But you might be asked, okay, what about, Hey, it's Conrad. Sorry about that. But what about, let's say, Yeah, what about the new Krypton stuff from Supergirl? Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Now, there were some new additions. I don't. Let's see. I think the last one I viewed was Daughter of New Krypton. I think it was Volume 4. Mm-hmm. Girl of Steel, Breaking the Chain. I believe I have reviewed it at some point. I think I have. Well, let's see. Head to review Volume 4. Let's see. Yes, I have reviewed Volume 4, so I have technically got them the Supergirl stuff. I still got one more trade left to go for the new printing trades, and that's it. Will I eventually do the rest? Yes, definitely. So, okay. Once I eventually read War of the Krypton, you're probably thinking, okay, what's else left to go for the new Krypton stuff? Well, just the stuff for Superman and the last new Krypton, and so basically just the Superman stuff with Mon-El, the last new Krypton, and War of Superman, and that's it. So I cover basically a good 50% of the storyline with New Krypton. And it's really good. I thoroughly enjoyed the War of the Krypton. I thought it's really good. Get this, like I mentioned, I would give my rating for it, okay? So yeah, that's a particular view. Next episode will be more Doctor Who, and maybe a comic corner. Who knows, okay? Next view. Bye.